Graham Mackay, editorial cartoonist. It's election time in Canada, and a common question I get is which leader is your most favorite to draw? I don't think there's a particular leader I like to draw, but I think they all come to the present day with their own interesting quirks, histories, and facial features. Let's go through the process of drawing each, starting with Justin Trudeau. So with each leader, I'll begin by sketching with some messy guidelines before fleshing them out and adding some shade. With the Prime Minister, his hair is naturally a feature to get right, but the key characteristic are his very pronounced eyebrows, next to his sleepy eyelids and dreamy blue eyes. Eyes that are distinctly down-slanted with very apparent eyelashes. He has the second biggest nose of all the leaders. It's a Roman nose, and his mouth is often drawn as a smirk next to a plump, pouty lower lip. As for suits, he's a dapper dresser, always drawn wearing a liberal red tie. As for Andrew Scheer, he's generally drawn with a square-shaped head. He's got very distinctive lines in his face, most notably are his dimples, his pronounced cheeks, perpetual smile, and teeth that are orthodontically interesting. His blue eyes are often depicted rather bulgy. There's some bags and darkening around them, unnoticeable eyelids, and eyebrows suggesting a range of sentiment from sadness to aloofness. Comparisons are often drawn to Howdy Doody, but I think he looks an awful lot like former Prime Minister John Diefenbaker. Then there's Jagmeet Singh, Canada's first brown-skinned leader of a federal party. Sharp nose with distinctly upward slanting eyes, very pronounced upper eyelids, and eyebrows suggesting sentiment ranging from earnestness to anger. The turban is obviously a major feature, often colored with NDP orange, and his long dark beard, given salt and pepper treatment under his somewhat pouty lower lip. He is very well dressed and has brought the three-piece suit back to fashion on Parliament Hill. Elizabeth May is the only woman leader on the all-male slate. She's also the longest-serving leader. Her distinguishing features are the long space between nose and mouth. The direction of her face is always in a glancing upward know-it-all position. She's always wearing glasses which somewhat obscure her eyes, so it's up to the eyebrows to carry expression, usually drawn out in the eyes. The eyebrows evoke compassion or resignation towards where the world seems to be headed. The flesh on her face moves downward with some distinctive lines, not a really pronounced chin, and always drawn in green, though one notices she hardly ever wears green in real life, oddly. Now there's Mad Maxime Bernier, another politician who's been around for a very long time. He's got the longest face of all the leaders, also the biggest nose. His eyes are pretty small, with crow's feet wrinkles and tiny eyelids. His eyebrows are drawn with upward strokes, grateful perhaps that people are paying attention to him, or with resignation that he's got little chance of really leading a caucus in Ottawa. He's got non-existent lips, and next to the former Prime Minister, Brian Mulroney, he's got the longest chin in Canadian politics. A bit of a push-forward haircut, brown with shocks of white around each ear. He's a pretty dapper dresser, always in striped ties. And at the beginning of this campaign, nobody knew who this guy was outside of Quebec, once better known as just the Bloc guy. Yves-François Blanchet is now becoming more familiar as polls show the Bloc Québécois are taking over, where numbers are collapsing for other parties, the MDP in particular. Blanchet has a stubby beard, glasses, a bit of a fleshy-cheeked lower face, big forehead, and a nice head of hair. I've drawn this guy the least of all leaders, but I expect there'll be a few more years to get used to him. And those are the 6 leaders of the political parties now involved in the 2019 federal election campaign. I hope you enjoyed.